Hi, today we are going to look on opportunity how to submit music on digital platforms so it will be ready for streaming. And there are different partners and companies who offer this service. I personally use CDBaby for some time already for the reason that you actually pay once for submission and you don't have any annual fees. So I kind of find it quite attractive. So you do that and forget about any additional payments. And there are other, of course, services out there in the market, and things change quite, on a regular basis on internet business. So CDBaby is an option, and if you go and you look at their website, there are different promotional and regular prices. I do look for their promotional services. Sometimes they give you quite good deals. And the good thing is that you can buy that option and you don't need necessarily to fill information right away. You can save it for later and fill it when the music is ready. To make membership in CDBaby, like usual, you need to create one. So I've done it in the past. I'll just basically log in into my account. So here, as we see, there are some albums under development in the process. And when they are ready, I'll just fill information. Today, I'm going to show you how to work with a single. So we'll just finish with the single release. And I will go over some of the key information to keep in mind. This is the prepared single already for distribution. And let's go and just kind of step by step in terms of what needs to be done. You get this track and submission overview panel, and the essential information is here on the left, and you go step by step and you fill this information as requested. When you are in this process, it is very important to have the track ready in the format they request, which is 44.1 kilohertz WAV file, a typical CD format. I wonder why they really never changed for better format nowadays, but it is the conventional one. And also the artwork ready for the visual appearance. So we will go to that as well. In addition to that, we will need to do some homework regarding the similar styles of music. So one step at the beginning, with the basic information, you put the language of the single if it has lyrics. And I will be working on the song called Quasi. That's a recent production. And this song features English lyrics. So I'm putting the single language lyrics. If this is different language, you of course put it from the list as they are here. And Lithuanian language, for example, is also there. It is quite flexible. Artist name, it's important that you put the artist name, what will appear on the digital platforms as well. So you might add and you might connect to the additional artist names linking to the existing accounts on Spotify or iTunes or any other relevant. Single title, try to avoid generic names like, love song or, something really generic like instrumental piece, because that will not help to separate yourself from the crowd. And, even a typical name will not do that either, likely, but there's still some inventiveness and some originality here is a bonus. You can put the single release date, and in most relevant things, you have additional help and tutorialship from the system. So you click the question mark, and it just basically explains what to do. If it is not, you go to additional support, and they are giving not only text support, but also visual guidelines how to go and find things. So that's pretty good. Now, additional information, if you relate to record label or you actually do a cover song or you work with a label, you need to put this information here as well as copyright owner if this is different from the artist name. And this, in my situation, it is identical. Each item which comes into the distribution needs to have a unique code. You need the identification code, which is with the barcode. And if you have one, you can use it. If not, CDBaby gives the service at an additional cost of $5, which is okay, I think. And you can just obtain that during the process. When you fill in this information, you go to the next step. And this is quite important to go through the terms of the service and general things. So, like, the rights you are associating with CDBaby, and you just need to know that all the copyright and ownership retains with you. And also it gives some conditions, what kind of percentages and royalties you split with the CDBaby, what happens with the payments, sales taxes, and things like that. So something's good to know because they would remind you a typical contract with a label and a good guideline for you to discuss this with the label if you are in this situation, you need to make an agreement. So something for you to read with a cup of coffee eventually. And what is also important that you are at least 13 years old, and if not, you need some parenting supervision in this regard. But in my situation, I'm okay with that for a long time already. Okay, and this is where you put track information. It is single, so there is no gonna be additional track information because if it is an album, you do that individually. If you need help how to put information there right away, you have a help section here. The track information regarding the artist and additional metadata, which is important to fill correctly throughout the single submission because this information is used to kind of direct your track in the right place and audience. And one of the questions is whether it needs to have parental advisor, and it is really more to do about lyrical content of your song, if it has lyrics and what they are about. This song is pretty much innocent in this regard, so I don't need that. The language of the lyrics is in English. Is it a live version? Because you could submit a similar track, but the live version, and identify that, and it becomes a separate item on the market. But in this case, it is just a studio production. And number 4, which is the author of who is the author and what is the originality of the piece. And in my case, this is original composition. But what is really good that you can use cover songs if you want to promote your name with some real known songs. So you can do that. And in the case of CDBaby, they help you a lot to clear the rights for cover songs. So that's quite encouraging if you are in this performing business and you want to do some cover songs. Even if in a studio production you want to make a new sound version, you can do that. You can also use music for public domain. Basically, the producers, composers whose music is there longer than 70 years on average. That's because each country has slight different numbers of years, but usually it's 70 years after the death of the last copyright holder of a particular piece. So you could use that. For instance, if you want to rearrange and do your version of Bach, Beethoven, you are free to do that. Songwriters information, this is important because those people will be assigned to some royalties. So if you are working together with somebody, you need to add that. And the good thing is that this system remembers your previous collaborator. So I could simply use somebody I used to add when I used them before. So in this case, this is just me and the information about the track, who is the composer, who is the lyricist. So in this case, it also happens to be me. And another question is if the song has a publisher, the owner of the song. In this case, you would need to put the actual name of the publisher. Okay, once that is done, you go further on. And this is something what you really need to pay attention, not just because it's cool to define your music, what it is in terms of style and genre, but also it is for your audiences how you can discover them later on. Because if somebody who is in urban music and R&B soul doesn't recognize this as an appropriate style, they would not be continuing listening, and your track has less chances to be popular among this group of audience. So it needs to do some homework, and I already put this information from the existing list of what it is. And subgenre appears also as an important factor to identify what the music is about. In addition, we do have many cases when genres and styles blend. So therefore, you have genre 2 definition, which is also handy when you need to kind of even narrow a spec what the song is about. And the last thing is the emotional category about the song, and you have some kind of mood definitions. Some things, some homework to be done here. In addition to audience, it is useful to have this information if you opt the song to be available for synchronization with other media. And sometimes the music producers, music editors, or agents browse through music. And if you are really, really good in defining what is the genre subcategory of styles of the music, you have better chances of placement and discovery of this music. Artist location is Lithuania in my case, and artists you sound like, 3 famous artists you think they sound like. You can go for very well-known names, and you can go with established names. So something in between is probably a good option here. If you really put the most famous name, what is the chance that you will stand out from the competition? Who 100,000 artists would do the same thing. So maybe some narrow spec would be good here, and focus on individual names. And also, this information is handy for the same reason that the audience is looking for sounds like, or also the playlist would be generated according to sounds like, and your song could appear in that playlist just because you really put an interesting name here. So some balance between well-known and indie artists, I think, is a good take. Okay. ISRC is a code, a musical code, which associates, of your song's identity. So it's also a good thing to make sure it's correct. And the good thing is that you also can get this code automatically from CDBaby once you do that. So you don't need to do anything else. But if there is another information, for example, you collaborate with a record label and you provide their own cataloging, then you can use your own. So that's a good option you could choose in case you need that. Okay, digital distribution options, and some things, quite interesting, because you can opt to narrowing the possibilities to use your music. I suggest that downloading and streaming is something what is most relevant nowadays, and you can read more about all these partners and their information, what they use and how they use the music. But what is important here that probably downloads only will limit your accessibility significantly, because the streaming is really taking over nowadays, and there is no basically reason why not to opt this up. And when you look at this list of the main streaming platforms, it's quite amazing that it will be automatically distributed to them, and you don't need to do anything, just kind of opt them up or not. Also, this flexibility is very good, because you might have a deal with a record label who is distributing on Spotify on their own, so you would be able to opt this out if you don't need that. Once is there, you need to connect your artist page to your artist name, and in Spotify you find your artist name and you create this link. This is very important. Apple Music as well, because those partners IDs have some additional information needed to be provided. So make sure that this is correct one and is there. In my situation, since I already distributed through this channel, I just kind of double check it is the same one, and it is the same one. So I save and continue. And I can opt again for territory restrictions. This is more to do with the record labels. If you can opt things manually. Now, this is something what is worth considering, and CDBaby can act as as an agent to collect money from various video platforms like Facebook and YouTube, because they would be your representatives. And to be honest, this is quite useful, because you don't need to do anything. If your music is used on those channels, CDBaby will represent your rights. And if any royalties are to be collected, then you just get them. So I opt this option, and you can do that manually. If you have different strategies in business, you can, for example, opt this out if you don't think it is necessary. But in my case, I just give those exclusive rights. So once you're done, you just agree with the agreements that they will be giving you all these representation rights. You always keep your ownership of the music. Now, in terms of the actual material you have to submit, number one is the album artwork. It is important that this is coming into the square format, and 3000 pixels is preferred because some people stream music on TVs, and the better resolution is, the better it looks. 1400 is the minimum size, and make sure that your artwork is in something like these formats and appropriate resolution. The color scheme is important, and the other regulations, like there is no particular URL or names, something, what we just need to make sure that the guidelines are obeyed here. So it is important, because when you upload it, you might get errors, and you just need to double check that everything is there, and you need to see the properties of the file if you are complying that. And this is what not to do in the uploading the artwork. So just take a look. Regarding the actual artwork, it must be original and also copyright free. So if you want to make an original album artwork, what you can do is you can hire a designer, and this is most of the cases I do with albums. I really want wonderfully looking artwork. In this case, with the single, I will go with easier solution. I'll do it myself by acquiring an image from stock library, and something what really goes well with the idea of shopping, because Quasi is about some consumption and shopping culture, and what it takes to be a part of that. So I wanted vivid and extreme colors and design, like in this picture, and to have something like an emotional press, this consumptual trend. So that figure's reaction to this name of the song is designed in such a way, and Quasi means that everything is very much questionable in this consuming environment. I used an appropriate stock library. If you go to Envato market, you go and find the image libraries. So this is here. If you go to photos in PhotoDune, here you can find PhotoDune, and you can look for pictures. And I was looking for something what would correspond to shopping, and yeah, I'm looking for the picture which would be a best match for me. And as I mentioned, I wanted something what to be very much colorful, visual, and impactful. And sometimes you target for different things. You want the opposite, because the internet is full of various marketing and screaming images. And here we go, the style. So this comes from the same author. I just used a different version of that. So, you can buy a picture for $3. And once you have it in your system, what you do next is you need to do certain adaptation in simple photo editing software. One of the problems is that this is not 3000 to 3000 pixels wide. So instead, I had to go with this smaller version, but it's okay. I will survive this drawback. And I'll just simply putting this information and trying to match the colors and doing changes if needed, making the best options, what would be good. So I decided for this time that this color scheme is working for me well. So once I save that, I upload it to the CDBaby and making sure it's working. If it has some it has incorrectness into the size, you can crop things, and it's pretty much flexible. So you do that, and then you need to upload the music. And once it is there and uploading, and if the format is good, you will see that it has a correct sign to the name. And you save and continue. And here you go, the entire overview of the song. So let's listen quickly to this song to understand why we have this particular genre selection and how I actually was looking for that. So.
Quasi-compulsory obsession, wasting my time in exploration. Look, here comes a magic pony, because he says you're dressing phony. Oh, 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 yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Mossy roses,
And so on. So therefore, I was looking for some resemblance of styles. So this is what we have, and release requirements, everything is there, it's being paid, and you have uploaded the information. All the information is there, distribution, making sure that there are no mistakes. It is very important to step down, take a fresh look, especially if you're doing it for the first times, making sure that things, are really are correct. And once you do that, you submit for distribution, and then you have to confirm that everything is correct, that spelled correctly, and that all the metadata is correct and everything is good. So you submit for distribution, and it is not yet in the distribution. It will take time for inspection, and as you see, the amount of material being submitted is enormous, and it can take from 1 to 3 weeks to be distributed through these systems. And then you will have a chance to review things if all is fine, if the audio works properly and there are no mistakes. And yeah, and you can do some changes, but that will kind of stop the inspection. So once it's being inspected, you will have this in the partner delivery. So this will go into this, information whether, when, and this music will be available in those systems. So good luck. This is it. And once it's there, we'll come back and we'll see how it's going. And good luck with the producing music and submitting excellent art on this fantastic opportunity on internet to be found and to be available there. Good luck. Have a good day.